Hello there, out there in video land and in radio land. Thank you for tuning in today. This is your city, your voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, in the studios of 4680Q Radio. Welcome to the show. Oh boy, what a show. Look at this. We got a great day today. It's windy. Has anybody been blown ashore today? Because it's windy out there, and I'm talking really, really, really windy. But it's warm. It's 75, closing in. It's going to close in on 80. The barometer's at 29.92, which means that we have a low pressure here, and we are going to probably see some rain. And yeah. So I want to ask everybody a question first. I got to reach out to my guys out there. John, Ringo, Beam, anybody out there? Do the $35 parking passes that you can get from the city include the Chippewa boat ramp? That's the question of the day for everybody out there. Do they include the Chippewa boat ramp? Somebody says they like to go down there and go in the water and do stuff. And actually, it's my buddy Heather who has a show on Wednesday mornings at 9:00, and it's like $7 or something an hour or whatever the heck it is. So she's wondering why they charge locals to park there when it's a local place. And I thought that they had that $35 pass that Jimmy Diodati put into place where you can park on city streets and that. And for some reason, I thought that they gave people an exemption who had a pass from Niagara Falls. So I don't know if that's true or not. So let me know in the comments, everybody. Okay, so we got to get going with the show here. Straight Talk Thursday. Man, oh man, June's closing down on us really, really fast. We're going to be out of this month in no time. And then, gosh, July, August, and then we're into September. 8 weeks. How time flies. It's been a crappy summer so far. So let's talk about some nice things, like my sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, Hamel Machine Company, and our latest sponsor, Niagara Parks Commission. Now, you look out there, it's not that great of a day. But you know one thing, the nicer weather's coming. We're going into the 90s next week. And you know what that means? That if your air conditioner is going to conk out on your car, it's going to do it in the hottest day next week. So why not just go to Ken at Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop and say, Ken, check my systems out, check out my brakes, check out my whole car, do your free spring checkup, make sure it's running right. And you know what? You don't have to worry about it anymore. Everything's going to be working right. If it isn't, when it's there, Ken will fix it for you, and you're going to be on the road happy and ready to go for the whole summer. Why not? It only makes sense. Be proactive. If you get in a wreck, he's got a full body shop. Don't worry about it. He's going to take your car in wreck, send it back home to you in showroom condition. You're going to love it. It's smart to get your car checked out and make sure you're going to have a good motoring summer. You don't want to break down. That's the bottom line. So what do? Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Oakwood Drive, next to the Kia dealership. You can't go wrong. WildBillsAuto.ca is the website. And while you're there, you're watching this video, and you flip over there, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button. Come on. We're at about 136 subscribers. We've stalled. Hit that subscribe button. Let's get this algorithm set up so that this show goes all over the place. We're on Rumble. We're on X. I just put it on Truth Social yesterday. So we're on 4 good social media platforms, including Facebook, and it's also on YouTube, of course. So let's spread the word. Let's get everybody interested. Let's get everybody involved. Leave comments. Let's make this a big deal. The more, the merrier, as we roll to the election in 2026. A local election, and we want to make sure everybody's tuned in, and they're going to do what they got to do to make this city what it can be, if you don't think it's already that. Okay, so let's move on, and we'll get to our other sponsors. There was no viewer comments, So I take it that everybody agreed with what I said, although I doubt it. Not too many people agree with what I say, but they never commented, so I can't do anything. I'm just going, well, okay. If they don't put anything, they must agree. If they agree, yeah, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I'm winning. I'm winning people over. I don't think so. I don't think so. So weird scenes inside the gold mine here on a straight talk on Thursday. Several people, including St. Catharines Regional Councilor Haley Bateman, showed up at the city council meeting with signs saying, "The women of Ontario say no." Now, what's that all about, you ask? Well, they were there because they want to have more regulations on city councilors that get charged with certain things and continue to sit on council. They think they should be dismissed until at least the court case is over or whatever. And basically, they shouldn't be serving on city council if they've been convicted of any kind of a crime. So that's what they're looking. They're looking to tighten up the rules about people who sit on council. And of course, it just so happened to correspond with charges against Councillor Mike Strange. Now, he's allegedly charged with assault on a woman. They haven't gone through a trial at this point, but these women that were there holding up the signs, they want the rules strengthened up about this kind of thing. And they don't feel Mike Strange should be there. He should have stepped down, taken a leave of absence, whatever. He should have done something rather than showing up at council meetings after charges like that. And it's called Strengthening Municipal Governance and Accountability. Now, they were asked to put the signs down. They refused. Mayor Jim called the cops on them. And the cops said they were going to be arrested under the Trespass at the Property Act if the signs were not put down. Something I doubt they could do. Seriously, folks, we own that building down there. Taxpayers own it, not Jim Diodati, not Mike Strange, not anybody. The taxpayers. We bought and paid for that building. It's our building. You cannot be trespassed from a public building. Now, there are cases where you can. I mean, if you start a big fight or you threaten somebody or do something like that. But if you're in there peacefully, minding your own business, not doing anything, and don't let them tell you about our code. Our codes are codes. Codes are not law. This is our policy. Policies are not law. So don't let them pull that on you and try to heavy hand you. That policies and codes and all the other crap that goes with that, it's not law. It's not law. Throwing people out isn't based on emotion. It's based on law. Can they rightfully throw you out? I don't think you can. I know if it was in the United States, they couldn't. Canada, who knows here? Who knows here? But I still think we have the right to be in a public building and not get thrown out if we're not doing anything that's disruptive or anything else. Now, holding up signs in a meeting, that's not disruptive. Nobody's yelling and screaming. Nobody's swearing. You know, I've seen people in there swearing, F you, F this, and they throw them out. Well, you know what? You know, but they're let back in after. They got to be let back in after because they can't be barred from a public building. They own it. They're the taxpayers. Now, the rules of decorum can't have signs. But it's not law. It's not law. If they're just sitting there holding signs, they're not yelling and screaming and disrupting the meeting. They're not law, but they didn't want it. They said because there's a pending court case. There's a pending court. That has nothing to do with it. It's open to the public. They're allowed to be there. It's a public meeting, and they can be there as long as they're not causing trouble. And if they're not yelling and screaming and chanting and carrying on, disrupting the meeting, then they can sit there with signs. And I know they throw them out. They say it's decorum and everything, but seriously, it's not against the law. That's why the cops came in, drug them out, and then just let them go because they can't charge them. You can't be trespassed from a public building. That's the bottom line. Now there may be restricted areas where you can't go into, and that has to do with confidentiality and that kind of thing. But anything that you can see from a public area is fair game. If they don't want stuff that's confidential to be seen, don't leave it out in front of a big window. And I said this weeks ago, I didn't understand why these groups weren't down there protesting. I thought they would be for sure. So it just goes to show you it's only a matter of time before somebody says they're going to be down there. I mean, as far as Mike Strange goes, when asked about the allegations, he denied them and said, "All I know is you're presumed innocent until proven guilty in Canada." Correct, Mike. That is correct. When asked if he would take a temporary leave, Strange said, "I am innocent and will still provide quality service as a counselor to the city of Niagara Falls." And although you may not like it, he has every right to do that. There is nothing that says he cannot sit there while there are charges laid against him. So he can legally be there no matter what anybody says. You can say all you want, talk about it all you want, but the bottom line is he can legally be there, and it's up to him if he wants to go in there and do it. Now, a lot of people morally, they might say, "No, I'm not going to do that." Those charges are not something that are really, really looked upon as a good thing in most social circles. I mean, if you defrauded a bank, people aren't so they're not so hard about that. Banks rip us off all the time anyway, so they don't care about that. But when you start hitting women and hitting children and kicking pets and stuff, that's when people really get upset, and that's a bad thing. So legally, he doesn't have to step down. Let's get that straight right now. Morally, it's up to him. The preponderance of the evidence so far points to one outcome, but the facts are the facts. But we don't have all the facts. That's the problem. We weren't there. We don't know what transpired, what went down. And yes, I know the cops came, they arrested him. She was charged with assault. He was got a restraining order on him and everything else, a bail. But at the end of the day, he hasn't had his day in court. Are there extenuating circumstances? I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know. But we're going to find that out. And at that time, then whatever happens, happens. So next court appearance is July 2nd. There's not a meeting before that now. So we'll see what happens then. So whether you like the optics or not, it is what it is. And these women were there because they want that changed, where someone who does go through that would have to step down, at least until everything's settled. And I can understand that. I can understand. Haley Bateman to me is a big kook. She's a real kook. I mean, nuts. She wanted Palestinians in the council, talking about the slaughter and genocide by the Jews and everything. And she wanted to let those guys speak. Like, she's off base. But on this one, I think she's got it. She's got a point. She's got a point. Good governance, and you don't want people who are not the best on city council or charged with stuff in that. So, after the trial, it is what it is. They do their time or whatever. That's fine. But while it's on, and so she's got a point there. But the Palestinians, no, and that's why I keep saying no flags. City council should not get involved in geopolitical struggles around the world. And when you put up a flag for Azerbaijan, which they did a couple weeks ago, which is a dictatorship and everything, then that's not good. And we don't have to get into that on the city council. We don't want to. But I mean, when your city's backing Birchway and all these other groups that are working against to stop violence against women, it's hard to have someone who's been convicted of that. And what But really, she said, Councillor Bateman said, Regional Councillor Bateman, that is, I do not believe they had any authority to remove us. And she's right. She's right. So she took the stand, and she said she would hope any councillor charged with assault would take a leave of absence until the matter is resolved. Doing so would be an act of integrity and public trust, and that didn't happen. Now, just on another note, all of the city council walked out of city council chambers, and when I see them walking out because of this, I see them walking out in solidarity with Mike Strange. In other words, they're making a statement there. They're making a comment, much like Mayor Jim Diodati did when he put Mike Strange in the mayor's seat right after the event. That's, I think, the same night as he was charged, the night before or whatever. They're all statements when you look at them. The only counselor that didn't walk out was Lori Lococo. She stood for women. She didn't walk out. They all walked out until these people left. I don't think they should have. I think that they should have stood in solidarity with violence against women is not right. But they did walk out, except for Lori Lococo, and I give her a pat on the back for that. Credit to Lori. She believes what she believes, and she wasn't moving out of that chair. She ain't moving out with these guys in solidarity. I guess 2 or 3 aldermen sat back, and then once they all started working out, and the one that surprised me is a woman, Mona Patel. I don't know if Ruth Ann Newstead was there. I don't think she was that last Tuesday. She didn't show up to the meeting for some reason. But Councillor Newstead wasn't there. But I was surprised Mona Patel walked out on this because she should have been, supporting these women. Violence against women is not funny. And for a woman to walk out on this, that's bad. That's bad. And I was shocked that she wouldn't sit there with Lori. But you know what? Part of the boys club, I guess, or whatever the hell they're doing. But it was noticed, Lori. Congratulations for standing your ground on this one. Okay, that's thanks to Ray Spiteri for the article in the review. You want to read more about it, go read about it in the review. It's always a great article by Ray Spiteri. Really doesn't give his opinion. That's not his job. That's my job to give opinions. Ray's job is to report the news. And no matter what people say, I think he does a pretty good job. Now, the other thing that happened at City Council, that was pretty crazy. Look at this. Pouring rain out there now. Coming down in buckets. So the other thing that surprised me was this big discussion about Carlton. The 6 townhouses and 1 detached unit on Carlton Street at 6111 Carlton Street. I didn't think it would be a big deal. Basically, what's happening is that there's a house there and a big lot. Those lots go pretty far back, and they wanted to put 6 townhouses in there. And I mean, I didn't I didn't see it being a big controversial thing, but at the end of the day, a lot of people showed up to talk against it. And it's really not that complicated to understand what's going on here. But for some bizarre reason, people don't get it. And I'm not talking about people on the street who probably don't get it. I'm talking about city councilors who don't get it. We have a planning department. We pay these people sunshine list salaries to deal with this kind of stuff. They come back and make their recommendations based on parameters set down by the province, the region, and the municipality. Here's our rules. If this doesn't fall within these parameters, you cannot approve that planning. You cannot approve that development. That's the bottom line. So, Kira Dolch and all the other planners, they sit there and they look at it. And they go through all the questions and all the, and what it is, does this meet with this? Does this meet with that? Does this meet with that? And understand that the rules have changed a little bit from a few years ago because of this Build Homes Faster 23, Build 23 or whatever it's called. The rules have changed. They want more houses built, so they're allowing stuff they didn't before. They're changing the rules for setbacks sometimes, and parking and that kind of thing. That's what our planners have to deal with. That's what they do. That's why we pay them big money. They do not make their decisions based on emotion or electability. They're based on planning principles set down by the province, region, municipalities, and any other authorities that have a say, like the environment and the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority in the case of its sensitive land and that kind of thing. Now, the lawyer got up and explained the liability of taxpayers if council turned down this development. The lawyer told them the ramifications. If they turn it down and the developer takes it to the OLT, the city is going to have to provide evidence as to why city council don't like the development, even though the planning staff said it was fine. And that's going to cost the city tens of thousands of dollars to go and deal with the OLT. And at the end of the day, the OLT is going to rule in favor of the developer. Now, the developer already gave concessions to these people. They wanted this, they wanted that. They said, okay, fine. As a matter of fact, they forfeited the rental or the sale of one of the properties because they removed it to have more parking because there was concerns about that. They've really, really tried to alleviate any of the fears that the people who live there in the surrounding area have. So the OLT is just going to say yes. And here comes the big slammer of it. If they decide that, hey, we made every concession we could for these people, and they still don't like it because they just don't want it there. It has nothing to do with planning or this or that. They just don't want it there. Hey, we might as well go for the max. See if we can throw another couple units in. See if we can throw that other semi-detached unit on that we took off. So they may even get a worse deal okayed. I mean, and city councilor, I'm going to tell you this right now. You think you're doing the people a favor and all that. Well, they may be happy, the 4 people that were there talking against this development. But when they see the bill for this, the other 100,000 people in town, when they see the bill and what it costs them because you didn't make the right decision, they're going to be a lot angrier. You're going to have the whole city mad at you. They're sick of getting their taxes raised. So that plan should have been approved. Now, Dabrowski and Patel made the motion, and I think Dabrowski seconded it, to deny the development because the people don't like it. For reasons that have nothing to do with is it good planning or not. It has to do with, people don't like it, and there's single family homes, but that has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with anything. Mike Strange come up and he gave a real goofy talk. I mean, what's wrong with these people? He said, seriously, he says, traffic is going to be involved and it's going to be terrible. Pardon me, 6 cars? 12 cars, say 2 cars to a unit. 12 cars are going to make a difference in the traffic in that area? I mean, the arguments are just so stupid. 12 cars aren't going to make a difference. If there's a problem there with Princess Margaret school buses and parents picking up their kids, parking along the streets, and whatever else problems you have with traffic, they're already there. 12 more cars aren't going to make a difference. You think these planners in our city haven't gone and looked at traffic and see if it's going to be affected? They looked at it, 6, 7, 8, 12 cars, all coming in and out at different times of the day. Seriously, come on, don't even make that point. That's just stupid to stand up and say that. Sorry, Mike. That was just a ridiculous point. And anybody who was in there talking and say I was talking about that are crazy. 6 cars, kidding me. What do you do in real estate? The houses for sale. You have 30 cars going up and down the street. I mean, what do you do then? People coming to look at the home and everything. You must really freak out. What are you out there with stop signs and barricades? Somebody wants to sell a house. Now, the only two who made sense were Cario and Lococo. Counselor Cario and Counselor Lococo. And both of them were sympathetic to the people who lived there. But they were able to use common sense and logic to come to the right decision. Approve that development, like our planners did, and keep the whole ordeal on becoming a big drain on taxpayers. That's what they should have done. That's what council should have done. They didn't. And at the end of the day, it's going to be approved. And it's going to cost the city a whack of money if they have to go there and defend the city council's decision to say no. And the OLT is going to say yes. And the developer might say, screw this. I'm putting in that extra unit. I'm getting as much as I can. I tried to work with these people, and they just kept on. And city council, it's a drain on taxpayers in a fight that we can't win. And councilors Lococo and Cario were very eloquent when they got up and spoke. Councilor Cario said, "Hey, listen, I understand what you're saying, and I agree that this may not be the best development for this area. I sympathize with you, but at the end of the day, it's going to go through. And for us to say no would be costing taxpayers thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, and we're not going to do it. I mean, the city attorney gave them the ability to understand it. Kira Dolch gave them the ability to understand why the planners turned it down. The planner explained it, and at the end of the day, even CAO Jason Burgess, the Penguin, stood up and told them why they should approve the bill. He gave them exactly what they should be doing and what the ramifications are if they said no. In one ear, out the other. Might as well have just sat down and said nothing, Jason, because you're wasting your words. And so when it came down to it, Patel and Dabrowski and Strange and Ruth Van Nieuwestad wasn't there, and Baldinelli, and who else is there? Who else is the other one there? Did I miss somebody? No, because somebody wasn't there. But anyway, they did it. Patel, Dabrowski, Strange, Baldinelli, and Peter Angelo. They said they wanted to deny it. Now, I'll make one note here about Peter Angelo. I don't know if he voted for or against this. They never, when they showed the people who were voting against it, in other words, they wanted to approve the application. The only two that had their hands up were Lococo and Cario. They didn't show Peter Angelo with his hand up, so I'm taking that he went along with Patel and Dabrowski to deny this. But really, seriously, this city council, the ones who went to deny this, should be taken aside, and they should be made to understand what they did. The mayor should take them aside and say, okay, here's what happened here. Do you understand why denying this is a bad thing for taxpayers? Because I don't think they do. They're watching the people, 4 people in the crowd that were yelling and screaming. Well, they weren't yelling and screaming, but they were against this. And also, you got to take into account, and this is what really made me laugh, is that 2 of the people couldn't care less about their neighbors. They were there worried about their properties, and that was the ones that live on either side. The one guy said, oh, the 6 townhouses are no problem. I have no problem with the 6 townhouses, but I don't like that single unit out front because blah, 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 blah. And then the other one on the other side, all she cared about was having a fence, a high enough fence. That's all she was worried about. Oh, yeah, build everything you want. I just don't want a fence there, so I don't have to look at it. But they were up for themselves. They weren't even with all the other property owners that talked. Don't like it for the neighborhood for various reasons. So, all for one and one not for all. It's all, it's you're on your own. So that's the way it thing. And then it was I never thought it would be this big of a deal. And Dave Wheeler and I sat here and said that, but obviously it was. And it was denied, and now it's probably going to go to OLT, and it's going to cost us a lot of money for no reason. Okay, let's get to my second sponsor, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. If you want a good pizza, you got to go to Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. What I like in pizza is consistency. I know when I get a pizza from there, it's going to be a good pizza. They use the Mancini family recipe for the sauce and the crust. Been around for 40 years. People love it. They also use a blend of Saputo mozzarella and brick cheese, and they know how to put it on the pizza in the right ratio, which is very, very important. Creating a pizza is an art. Just don't throw stuff on a hunk of dough and it becomes a pizza. You gotta know what you're doing, and they do. But they're not just good at pizza. They have excellent wings. They have excellent steak and cheese poutine. They have regular poutine. They have panzerotti. They have many, many, many good things on that menu. So if you don't like pizza for some reason, you don't like wings, you'll find something you love on that menu. It's unbelievable what they do. Open till 2 in the morning on Friday and Saturday for your convenience until midnight during the week. How do you get a pizza? Easy, easy, easy. 905 357. I'm sorry, 905, and let me get this right, 374-2222. That's how you order by telephone. Go to pizzavictoria.ca to order online. Or you can use Skipper Dash or any of those other ones that deliver. But I guarantee you're going to get a well-done pizza, a beautiful pizza with fresh ingredients delivered to your door, hot. How can you beat that? That's like living in heaven. Support our sponsors because they support the show. They support the city. They supported the Rick Rose event. They're good people, good, solid people that have been in the city for a long time doing good things for its citizens. Okay, let's see. While we're on council, I have to make a plea to Mayor Jim Diodati. Please, Mayor Jim, please don't blow your nose on camera. Yeah, turn off your mic. Take a leave of absence from the chair for a minute. Go blow your nose somewhere else. It's disgusting. Really, you should have washed your hands after the big blow. Right on TV, the guy got his schnoz right into a Kleenex, blowing like crazy. Please don't do that. And I don't know what the hell you're eating every week neither. He's eating something all the time. Jim Diodati, he's munching on, I don't know what he's got there, peanuts or something? He's at the circus, I guess. Why not? One more crazy moment. I mean, there's a lot of crazy moments. I'll be talking about them more as we go through the week and next week. But this is a weird one. Councillor Triple F, Mona Patel, made a motion for the Veterans Crosswalk, which was a great motion, by the way. Congratulations to her for making that motion. And one that I totally back, I'll tell you that. The Veterans Crosswalks across the street, all lined up with the Lest We Forget and decorations honoring our veterans. I want them up by Remembrance Day if possible. I love the idea. I think it's fantastic. And I said I got to kick in $100 to help pay for it. So taxpayers don't have to pay for it. We'll raise money. And there's another gentleman, I can't mention his name, but I did talk to him, who's in on it to raise money. And we're going to do it so taxpayers aren't on the hook for it. I'm going to try to do it anyway. So Lori Lococo brought that up, that she had talked to the gentleman, and the people are willing to raise money for it, so we don't put any burden on the taxpayer for it. And Councilor Patel said no. She wanted the city to pay for it. What? There's people are willing to work to raise money for it. She said no. She wants the city to pay for it. I didn't get this at all, and either I didn't understand her, something there, because this didn't make a lick of sense. Why would you not want people who are willing to work in honor of veterans to not support it and let the city pay for it? The city, when I say the city's got no money. It comes from the taxpayers. Whenever I say the city, it means you and me and your neighbors. I mean, seriously, she wants the taxpayers to foot the bill when people are willing to step up and raise money? I mean, seriously, and she has dreams of running for mayor one day, maybe even next time around. God help us. God help us. Father, Son, Holy Ghost, God help us. Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. Okay, some good news out of City Hall. I always tell you the bad news, right? City just got a big, beautiful check for $2.8 million from dug the slug up in Toronto, rewarding us for building 667 housing units in 2024. Oh, that was our goal. 667. We got 774. We exceeded it by 100 with some fancy footwork, far exceeding the province target for the Niagara Falls build. Now, when the premier presented the check, he said he hoped that the money will be used to get even more homes built so he can come back with a bigger check. Well, we missed out the first round, and I think the second round we got in only because we were allowed to add stuff that was in the gray area of qualifying, like retirement home spaces and that kind of thing. But really, what we need, Dougie, while you're at it, what we need, when we're talking about money from the province, Dougie, what we really need is 400 million or more to get that new wastewater treatment plant built up and running. And I think Niagara Falls is ready to build 8,000 new units easily. We have so many projects approved. It's unbelievable. But the logistics of the approvals is killing the building. Yeah, we can't build if we can't have nowhere for the sewers to go. And we can't put them at our old one because it's already taxed to the limit. And they got to build this new pollution plant, water treatment plant, and obviously we have no money. That's why they're not doing it. They have no money, but the new hospital is going to need it. We're going to need it for the south and west end of the falls. So this is truly, truly what we need. Dougie, 2.8 million isn't going to cut it, buddy. We need 400, 500 million. Well, also, we need workers. Who's going to build all these new homes? Who's going to build all these homes you want? 1.5 million by 2031. So we need qualified workers. You got to start supporting trade schools and that kind of thing. I mean, if you look at Niagara Falls, we've approved, I don't know how many units. We've approved a ton of units, a whack of units, to be honest with you. But they're not getting built. There's no shovels in the ground, nothing going on because why? I don't know why. We know how to build to approve them. We just don't know how to get the shovels in the ground. That's the problem. But anyway, we did get 2.85 million. See what they use it for. Welland and St. Catharines also got their checks. And Mayor Jim said the money will allow the city to build 300 to 400 unit housing complexes in a public-private investment, a partnership. And they're going to have affordable, attainable, and market rents in the downtown area. So you know what that means. He's talking about building on the meteor crater here, that 20-story building on the meteor crater, and the other 20-story building that's been approved for the King Eddie parking lot. That's supposed to be owned by the University of Niagara Falls Diploma Mill, and they're supposed to be building student housing there. So how are we getting into a private partnership or a partnership with them? I don't know. Whenever we get involved in private entity with private enterprise, it skews the numbers, so residents don't really know what's going on with the money. Case in point, Niagara Peninsula Energy, Niagara Falls Holding Company, Holdco, Innovation Hub, Niagara Regional Broadband. We owned them all. Niagara Regional Broadband was sold. We give the Innovation Hub $700,000 a year, and we don't know why. They don't come up with any kind of books. We can't see their books. They just get 700 grand, blow it on what they want. It's a make work program, maybe. That's what I think it is. Can't prove it, but that's what I think it is. So these shady corporations, partnerships, who knows what the hell they are. Dark, so we can't see them. Undercover. Add real estate to that confusion. We're going to be in partnership to build these, 300 or 400 units. That's what that 2.8 million is going for. And you thought it was going to fix your road. Forget about it. These guys give me agita. Okay, so we'll move on. See what happens with that. I mean, check. We get money. The money's blown. I don't know how much we got. 45 million from Niagara Regional Broadband sale to Cogeco. Where's the money? We got 22 million back at the end of the year. Where is it? MIA, everybody. Let's get to my third sponsor, Hamel Machine Company. And whenever industry decides to build in a city, the first thing they want to know is, where are the machine shops? What happens if we need something fixed? Are we in proximity to good machine shops that can help us when things break down? And of course, in Niagara Falls, we're lucky. We have Hamel Machine Company. Been here since 1948, serving industry. Yeah. So if they have to do anything, they go see Hamel. Machine breaks down. Hamel comes down, looks at it, says, we can fix that. Get it apart. We'll fix it. And not only do they fix it, they make it better. Today, time is money. When a place shuts down because a piece of equipment is broken, they lose money. They don't have time to wait for new parts to be flown in from all over the world. They're made in Mexico, they're made in Guatemala, they're made in China, Taiwan, Vietnam, you name it, everywhere. And they don't have time to wait for these parts to come in. And it's expensive when they do get them in. But Bob Benner down at Hamel Machine Company, they can reverse engineer the part if they can't fix it. They have 3D printers, water jet cutters. I mean, they have everything there. And not only do they make the part again, they make it better because they have the people with the expertise to do that. They're innovators, they're inventors. They service all kinds of industry. They ship worldwide. They're big, a lot bigger than I knew until Bob came in and gave me the lowdown. Hamel Machine Company are good for you as well. You need a set of gates made, they can design them and build them. Your lawnmower, your snowblower, shears a pin. Whatever happens, they can fix it for you. Just go to hamelmachine.ca, see the beautiful workway they do with the wineries in town and every other industry. You're going to be happy you did. You're going to have your mind blown, and you're going to want to go down and see them when you have a problem. Tell them Paul from your city, your voice sent you since 1948. Hamel Machine Company. Tell them I sent you. And please support our sponsors. We really appreciate that because they support the city. They support the show. They're an integral part of Niagara Falls. We want to make sure they stick around for many, many years. We love them all. Okay, let's get to our next big thing, that big cocaine bust. Remember that big cocaine bust last week? There was about 20 guys named Singh. This Singh, that Singh, that Singh, this Singh. Largest cocaine bust in Peel region history, involving 9 people, all named Singh. The bus seized 479 kilos of coke, worth about 50 million street value. They also seized 2 illegal loaded semi-automatic handguns, with the 9 perps being charged with a total of 35 counts, including trafficking and gun charges. The police have been praised for the bust, with authorities saying they were quite literally saving lives and protecting Ontario by getting those drugs off the streets. Well, the saving of lives didn't last long. Just days after all the charges were laid, 6 of the 9 charged are all out on bail. That's right, they're all back on the streets, ready to peddle their drugs again and carry guns. The Canadian turnstiles of justice are well oiled and spinning freely. Oh, I can just imagine. Okay, your bail, $25. Do you have it? Oh yeah, I just happen to have $80,000 cash in my pocket. There you go. $25. All right, now you got to promise to be good too. Oh yes, I will promise to be good. I will be good. Insanity. That's what it is. It's insanity. Doug Ford's pissed. He called the bail disgusting and said, we need the federal government to get serious about bail reform now. We need tough on crime judges who put criminals behind bars, not let them out walking on our streets. And he's right. And I've been saying this for 2 years. Until they get serious on crime and throw these guys away, no bail. No bail. You're staying in jail until you get sentenced. And then you want the judges to come down hard. 25 years. 25 years, no parole. How do you like that? You want to stop it? Let's get serious. Let's get serious about it. Believe me, these guys are on bail. I guarantee you'll never see them again. They'll end up back in Pakistan or back wherever. I guarantee it. It's just the way it is. It never ends. Toronto Police Association, they're beside themselves, saying our members of the police force and officers across the province do tireless, often dangerous work to get the violent offenders off the street. Somebody's calling on my phone. Hey, you can't get through. I'm using it to do video. So if you're listening and you want to call and make a comment, forget about it. It ain't going to work. And they get out there, these police, and they're often on the streets only to see them walk free later. Their hard investigative work is constantly undermined by justice systems that fail to prioritize their efforts and safety in our communities. We really need bail reform now from them, from Doug Ford, and from me. And these drug busts are just the tip of the crime iceberg. You know that, right? You know that. This is nothing. This is nothing. There's hundreds and thousands of kilos coming into this country and being distributed across the border. Gangs are wrestling for control of the streets. You know that. They shoot each other on the streets. They make it dangerous for everybody, all of us, because they don't care about collateral damage. If I'm sitting in this studio and there's a drug guy standing out here, they could take pot shots at him and hit me. I'm going to duck. Of course, I'm going to duck. But I'm telling you, this is every day we see it. And it's these left-wing radical judges who don't believe in sentencing them. That's what it is. And that's why I keep saying judges should be elected. They should be responsible to the people. If they don't do a good job, they're gone. We throw them out. We don't fool around with them. We throw them right out. That's the end of it. You're gone. And we'll see you next election. That's it. I mean, you can't have these guys making decisions and giving minimum sentences with minimum bails and expect to have law and order. That's the bottom line. Until we as citizens are mad as hell and we aren't going to take it anymore, the insanity is going to continue. We need laws that protect the innocent, not the criminals. And believe me, I would love to see concealed or open carry permits issued. These guys wouldn't be pulling this stuff, a lot of these criminals. So there was a guy sitting there with a gun. I'm telling you, smashing grabs at jewelry stores would be a lot different if the owner had a gun and knew how to use it. And when they broke in, he just popped them. That would be it. That would be a jewelry store they're not going to hit. They hit soft targets because they're cowards. All of us are victims because we lock ourselves in our house watching the criminals run free. Yeah, you lock your doors at night, and the cops even say, hey, leave your car keys by the door. If they want your car, you got a nice car? Leave them by the door. They'll just come in, take your keys, go out and grab your car and take off. They won't bother you. Imagine that. Imagine that. You know we're in big trouble when you hear crap like that in Ontario and Canada, for that matter. I'm telling you, you got to be a vigilante, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what they expect because the cops aren't going to save you. Well, cops are not going to save you. And the judges and courts are not going to put these guys away for good. So what are you left with? Okay, let's get to Chili con carne. That's right, our Prime Minister becoming the biggest spendthrift in Canadian history. If Trudeau wasn't bad enough, we got this guy now. Spending money like a drunken sailor on shore leave. Canada is 1.5 trillion in debt, and it's soon going to be 2.5 trillion because Carney's spending money like crazy. Another half a trillion in the last few weeks without even having a budget. He don't even have a budget to spend money with. He's spending it. What do you do? He's sending 230,000 to Europe so they can shore up their armies. So we have a stronger European army. Another 2.3 trillion as a loan to Ukraine. Like we've given them a ton of money, and another 2 million just in weapons and stuff. So 4.3 billion, not million, billion. Let's get that straight. It's billion with a B. 4.3 billion, 230 billion to Europe so they can shore up their militaries. It was, so we're closing in on a half a trillion dollars of waste. By the time he's finished, he's only been in what? April 28th, May 28th, like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 7 weeks. And his whole thing is spend, spend, spend. Chili con carne loves to spend, 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 spend. Unbelievable, unbelievable. Now you know the money he gives to the Ukraine as a loan. It's a loan. We're never going to see it, right? Ukraine's going to get their ass kicked, and they're going to lose this thing against Russia. It's it's already predetermined. They're losing, and we'll never see that 2.3 billion. And that's from you. That's from you. The government doesn't give anybody anything. It's you that gives it to them because it's your tax money. When these guys tell you they're giving you a rebate, oh, we're going to send everybody $280. We're going to send everybody this money. It's your money they're giving you. They're not giving you anything. It makes me laugh. They're not giving you anything. It's your money they're giving you. But anyway, that's what he's doing. Now, wouldn't it make more sense? And this is what I keep saying, but TDS runs deep in Canada. Trump derangement syndrome. People can't make sense out of anything as long as it's got Trump attached to it. But wouldn't it be better to give Trump $60 billion for the Golden Dome that he wants to build to protect North America, including Canada? That's our share, he said. He's going to spend billions of dollars to build a Golden Dome. I mean, if we didn't give Europe the money to protect Europe, we could give Trump the money to protect Canada and the United States and have 170 billion left over. Why are we giving these guys any money? The war's not here. Nothing going on here. It's over there. We need to protect our shores. These socialists, they blow my mind. They hate Canada, hate the people of Canada. That's why they're trying to replace everybody with invaders. They'll do anything they can to make life worse for Canadians and better for anybody who immigrates to this country, and even if they're illegals. I mean, Canada's broke. Carney has been elected. Well, he was selected. Whether he was elected is questionable, but he was selected to liquidate Canada. Canada is broke. They're in receivership. He is liquidating the country, and it's going to be sold to the highest bidder, which is going to be the U.S. Canada is not for sale, is baloney. It is for sale, and it's going to have to be when he puts us so far in debt we can't get out of it. We can't deal with it. We don't have enough tax dollars coming in to deal with it. And the banking liquidator that he is, he'll sell it to the highest bidder, which will probably be the United States. And that's that. It's inevitable. Speaking of Canadians and their elbows up attitude, they really make me laugh when they're cheering on the No King movement in the United States. No king, no king. Especially since all these TDS affected people in Canada with the elbows up attitude, they have a king. He was just here a few weeks ago. It cost us, I don't know, 3 or 4 million probably. He's the king of Canada. That's why he came here. Gave the throne speech or whatever the hell he did. I mean, he was here for a 3-day visit to scare the United States. The U.S. doesn't care about him. The U.S. doesn't even care about Canada. They threw the British out 250 years ago. Not going to worry about Mickey Big Ears coming into the Commonwealth country saying, Canada, no, Canada first, we will not for sale, blah, blah, blah. Oh, man, what a bunch of maroons. No kings indeed. This guy gives me agita big time. Mickey Big Ears. He gives me agita, agita, agita. Okay, speaking of Canadians, you better learn to love electric cars, and we're going to get to that in a minute, but I gotta get my fourth sponsor in here, and that is our new sponsor, the Niagara Parks Commission. You haven't experienced the Niagara Parks Commission yet, you're missing out on one of the best parts of living in Niagara Falls. 14 million visitors a year come here to experience the 32 miles of beautiful Groom Parkway, with the centerpiece being, of course, Niagara Falls itself. With a multitude of attractions and special events, like the Summer Mardi Gras Party on June 20th down at Oaks Garden Theater. It's going to be fantastic. It's a must-visit experience in Niagara Falls, and locals shouldn't just forget about it. We're so complacent here, and I agree. I am too. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. We've lived here all our life. I can hear the falls from my front porch when I sit out at night. It's right there, and very seldom do we go down to see the beauty of it. The new Whirlpool Pub and Lounge located at the Whirlpool Golf Course, just a beautiful public golf course. The Adventure Pass package and the annual parking pass, all for us to enjoy, as well as visitors from anywhere in the world. So if you're listening to this from some other parts of the country, come on to Niagara Falls. Enjoy it. It's great here. Great for locals and repeat visitors alike. You can get these passes to do this stuff. You're welcome to buy one. And they let you experience all that the parks has to offer all months of the year. It's even more beautiful in the winter than it is in the summer. It's unbelievable. For more information, go to NiagaraParks.com. Check out the website. Everything's there. And you're going to love it. You're going to love it. Niagara Falls is a wonderful place. And when you get down the park with the 32 miles of Groom Parkway, it's it really is one of the most beautiful places in North America. And you have the falls right there. Okay, so speaking of Canadians, you better learn to love electric cars as the infinite wisdom of a true dictator. Shelley Carney, Art Carney, Norton, and his hive of morons are going to ban the sale of gas-powered cars by 2035. That's right. After 2035, you will not be able to buy a new gas-powered car if they get their way. You can buy used ones, but that'll be it. The only option for a brand new car will be electric. Now, you know what that means. Everybody's going to be buying gas-powered cars, used ones, and the price of used cars will go up to the price of new ones. It always happens. Now, you got to get ready to shell out big bucks, too, because these new electric cars aren't cheap. Like, they're 20 grand more than a normal car. And you got to see your taxes swell as millions of electric vehicles take to the roads, decimating the infrastructure. You do realize that the average electric car is 1,500, 2,000 pounds heavier than gas-powered cars, which means more wear and tear on city streets. They're not made for that. And bridges, what about bridges? Skyways, what about the Burlington Skyway? How many cars does that hold at one time? And that multiply that times a couple thousand pounds. You think that's structurally fit to hold that much more weight? Oh yeah, engineers build them, and they do build in a scenario where you've got the whole skyway, traffic backed up across the skyway, and it's holding the bridge. But you ever been on this, you can feel it wiggling. Guess what? You throw all these electric vehicles on there, and you're going to have to do it. Not to mention parking ramps and that kind of thing, and city roads. It's going to cost us a fortune. And these they just weren't engineered to carry the extra weight. Some are 30% more. So if you have a 3,000 pound vehicle, you're looking at another 1,000 pounds on it. There's big trucks that weigh 30% more, sometimes more. So not only do we have to worry about the weight, we have to worry about the infrastructure now that cities and provinces are going to have to deal with. And we also are going to need charging stations. Everybody's got an electric car. Where are they going to charge them? They're going to have them all over the place. That infrastructure is going to have to be huge, and the government's going to have to build it. It's not like the old days where the gasoline oil companies took on building gas stations at every corner. No. And we also have to spend a lot of money on our grid. Our grid can't handle it. So somebody's going to have to build more power plants or figure something out. This is going to be an expensive ordeal. Nobody thinks of that. They just think, oh, we're saving the planet, climate change, which is a hoax. It's not even real. It's a bunch of baloney. We are the only people in the world that were paying a carbon tax. You think they pay a carbon tax in China? Forget about it. Anyway, that's what's going on. Get ready for 2035. Get rid of your gas-powered car. Buy electric. I'm not buying electric. I'll be dead by 2035 anyway, probably. So I won't have to worry about it, and I probably won't be driving by 2035, even if I'm alive. So, yeah, get ready for it, everybody. All you youngsters out there, you young kids, you young people. Hey, you're grabbing 2034, buy a brand new gas car, keep it because you don't want to have an electric one. Okay, I'm getting out of here, but before that, I want to mention tomorrow is the start of Ribstock, which 4680Q Radio is a big sponsor of. Get down there. I'm going to go there tomorrow at around 5 o'clock or quarter after 5. I'm going to go see what's going on. Check it out because it is sponsored by 4680Q. See what's going on. I'll be back on Saturday there just to check it out and see what's going on. Saturday, they have some good musical bands playing, good musical acts. They have ribs. They have different food trucks there. They have wobbly pops. They have everything there. It's going to be a great time to be at Fireman's Park for Ribstock. Go down and check that out. Please support our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, Hamill Machine Company, and Niagara Parks Commission, the beautiful parks. Support our sponsors. They support the city. They have things going on. They make the city beautiful and vibrant, and they contribute. We love that. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you if you do go down there. And I will be back tomorrow with finally Friday, checking in with more goodies for you. And maybe some more from City Council. We'll talk about more from City Council. I always love talking about City Council. Anyway, God bless you all. Have a great day. This is Your City, Your Voice. Signing off for today. I'm Paul Killamere. 4680Q is the studio. We do it every day at noon, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Wednesdays, absolutely. All Habs, all show. Tracking down the Habs trades, draft, everything that's going to be coming up, free agency in the next few weeks. How can you go wrong? If you love the Habs, you got to tune in. Have a great day, everybody. It's nice out there. Enjoy the weather. We'll see you tomorrow at noon sharp with Finally Friday. Love you all. Take care. Ciao, ciao. For now, I'm going to press the button and I'm out of here.